before we go, I just want you to, part of attitude on my part is, and I don't care, anything I say is public knowledge. So I don't care who is told anything. I learned a long time ago not to ever say, listen, I'd rather not tell anybody this, because what that's doing is they're going to take on. So I just go ahead and just say it. Mary McGee and Sandra Beavers has got a concentrated effort to make my life as miserable as possible. Any concern that you have should have been directed through the school, and this is a little different, I know that, and then to the next level central office, but they don't want that. They want people to come to the board meeting and create turmoil. For example, y'all were there through that whole thing last night. Great. I mean, since I've been here, we've not had, unbelievable. Mr. Moten did a super job of presenting those boys and girls. And then we turn around and invite people. I mean, how many times, there's issues, you come to me, you come to us. I've got no problem with people going to a board member if they go through channels and give us, because most things that we can fix are explained. And then, and I don't know how I'm going to deal with this. I was so angry last night, and it looked like I was taking it out on you, and I wasn't. And I'm so glad that you said, will you hear her out? And so I'm not upset with the idea that you're speaking on behalf of somebody. But I was so upset, and it kept running through my mind that she stood up in that meeting and said that you got teachers in this system that don't care about your kids. That is wrong.
Well, I think in any system, you've got teachers that don't care, and then you've got teachers that do care.
Well, the thing is, though, that's not the venue to do that. We had just finished up a nice affair. That was so inappropriate. And I'm going to do everything I can do to let my teachers know that's what your board member feels about you. That's how she thinks about you. But yes, you're right. We've got teachers that need to go home.
Yeah.
People are not beating the door down to get into education.
Oh, I don't know.
So the quality has gone down. I mean, I've seen it over my time. There's nothing. My first thing that I think about is how are we treating the majority of people now. So I don't even know how many people I'm over. I really don't. If you told me you'd give me $1,000 right now, I couldn't tell you exactly. It's around 300, but I don't know exactly. People that really know me day to day will tell you right now that I've got the kindest heart in the world. I made 2 decisions yesterday, and they are hard decisions. And then I'll have to do it again in May when we start letting teachers go. Yesterday was the hardest day I've had since I've been here, because I'm going to be dealing with 2 mid-year terminations, and it's going to be hard. I mean, it's just going to be a nightmare.
Well, I want you to know.
So anyway, I'm going to let you talk.
Okay.
I just want to get all of that out of kind of where all that was coming from last night. And in the future, if you have something, come to me first. And then if you don't hear what you want to hear, then do the next step. I mean, let's do that. Well, and as you go through your career, because I'm kind of talking to her too. Because
that's why I want her here.
Well, and that's why I said I have no problem with it. I mean, because she spoke as eloquently as anybody could, standing in the parking lot outside the boardroom. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
It didn't change my mind. It made an impact. They hate the bus. I mean, you can do it with bus drivers, teachers. You can do it with anything. They pick on my baby. 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 And without getting into specifics, I'm going to tell you that's not the issue with Miss O'Neill. There are other things, and I just can't talk about that. And I'm not. I don't know how to any other way to say it. I can't go into other things in that. I hate that it didn't work. I mean, it's not good for you. It's not good for what's your daughter's name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa. My middle granddaughter's Alyssa. Alyssa Marie. But I hate it for her. I hate it for us. The fighting that's going to occur. But I'm going to make decisions based on experience, based on advice. There's very few. Every decision I make, I don't call somebody. But if I'm making a decision that's got some ramifications to it, Superintendent here in Talladega County, Dr. Lacey, she was principal at Childsburg Middle while I was principal at Lincoln. So we've been friends a long time. Very knowledgeable, very, very, very smart woman. The superintendent in Oxford, I've known him a long, long, long time. The superintendent Guff Shores actually used to be in Piedmont, my best friend in the world. So those are three, but there's others. I call them for counsel a lot. Man, I'm dealing with this. What's the suggestion? Somebody's been in it a long time. Because by and large, I'm a year and a half. I don't have a lot of experience. I respect your thoughts. The way things have gone down with Miss McGee and Miss Beavers and other people that have been stirred up has not been conducive to learning. Regardless of what happens, I wish Alyssa nothing but luck. I respect the way you handled it, this part of it. Last night, I don't know who told you to come before last night and talk about it, but they were wrong. I don't know if you just happened to be there or if you were encouraged to be there, but a board meeting, and people in Talladega, they really don't know how board member meetings are supposed to be. Do you know last night was the first night since I've been here that Mary has voted yes on personnel report? And it's always.
Well, I have to say, it was the first meeting I've ever been to. And I left not knowing anything, just like when I went in.
See, yeah. But that's the way it's supposed to be. It is not an information meeting. A board meeting is a school system's business meeting. And it's different than, if they're having Honda's business meeting, they're not going to have the workers sitting in there and stuff. They're conducting business. A PE teacher at the high school. See, the PE teacher that was there, I hired him at the beginning of the year. I gave him a second chance. The kid had been here before, done something. It wasn't anything with kids or money or anything like that. He done something, and he didn't get fired. He resigned. Stayed gone 3 or 4 years, grew up a little bit. We brought him back. Worst hire I've ever made, Miss Gibbs. Worst hire I ever made. Worst hire I ever made. Immediately started becoming a problem. Called him in, talked to him, called him in, talked to him, called him in, talked to him. Finally, and I knew his daddy. I used to coach with his daddy. And so I met with Darius and I said, guys, I hate to do this, but I'm firing him. I'm going to terminate him right now. That was on a Friday. That Sunday, his daddy calls me and says, Chris, the guy won't be at work Monday. And I said, really? I said, what happened? He said, well, he's sitting in Atlanta Fulton County Jail. And I said, oh my Lord. He said, I'll bring you resignation Monday morning. I got it. So it was a resignation, but I was about to fire him. I had to. Dealt with one at Houston, similar situation. Now, if you're tenured, there's not a lot you can do for a tenured teacher. And that's that's sad.
I don't like that.
Yeah. And you work, and I'm dealing with one in elementary school right now that it doesn't right. There, you can fire a non-tenured teacher, but it is so hard and strict. The levels are so out there that you kind of ask, do you want to go through this, or do you? And most of the time, it's not going to work. Now, the New Students First Act, with a non-tenured teacher, you don't have all those things. You can do stuff with notice type deal. No appeal. With a non-tenured teacher, there's no appeal. Think about that when you get into, and that's kind of it. There used to be an old saying: the first 3 years that you work, you act like they don't even need to know your name. You go on the website, and like they will talk about. I don't like that so and so. You know, she voted no on the financial report, right? I don't mind telling you why she does that. Because Chucky Miller, she hates Chucky Miller with every ounce of her body. There's two people Mary hates. I don't think Mary hates me. That's what I've been most disappointed about since Miss Beaver's come on. Mary and I had developed, and I don't mind you telling them this because I've said it to them, that we had developed a respectful relationship. I understood she's gonna vote no. I'm good. You know, you vote your conviction. But since Miss Beaver's got on, it's gone downhill. I've asked Miss McGee several times. I think it is the most insane thing in the world. So we got her agenda, and she says, next we will hear the superintendent make a recommendation on deletion of fixed assets. Then I have to say, I'd like to recommend that we accept my approval of deletion of fixed assets. We've heard the superintendent make the recommendation. I'm like, why don't we just say it one time? I mean, but all of that stuff is mundane. Personnel is never mundane. I mean, it's always somebody. So 5 people apply for a job. Only one of them's gonna get it. You're guaranteed 4 people are upset. She's white. See, that's another thing with Sandra and them. All you ever hear is we do need to hire more black teachers. We're a majority black school system. Mm-hmm. As a system, we're 67% black. I feel like my mouth feels dirty when I talk about it, though, because I feel like a racist when I say, "Oh, we got to hire somebody, but they need to be black." Well, that's not fair to that white person. But the reality is that we need more black role models. You kind of, and then you get 10 that really are. So then you kind of look and say, well, you know, and it's just kind of arbitrarily. I mean, it's subject. Well, this person worked here, that person worked here. You know, they did this, and a lot of times you don't know if it's black or white. You know, if the name is Quindarius, you know, it's kind of a good clue. Name's Emily, you know, you probably know, type thing. That funny story though. I ran into a girl that I taught at Anniston last night. When I taught at Anniston for 11 years, so I love black kids. And she introduced me to her daughters, and she was a black girl, and their name was Ashley and Amber. And I thought that's a little unusual. But so anyway, so we get those, and we narrow it down to 3 or 4 people we're going to bring in the interview, and usually one of them stands out, or 2 of them stands out. But sometimes they are just even Steven. Everything's even. And you just pick one. You just say, well, this one she smiled a little bit more. We're building this little concession stand, softball thing. I'm not going to see it. We're building that now. $260,000 that thing is costing. And that's about $60,000 more than normal. But the reason it is because you can't get tradesmen to do it. So now that block mason, he knows there's nobody else to do it. So he can go up to $4 a block. Where if there was a lot of people out there, you could get it up for $2 a block. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. But what I get labeled at right off the bat is I don't believe in career tech. That is as far. My daddy was a carpenter, painter, plumber, whatever. He wasn't trained in anything. He just back then you just learned how to do it. Well, right now, I'm a better plumber than anybody in this town, and I guarantee you I can build a better house. I've built 5 houses. So I think it's super important. One thing, we need to bring back auto mechanics. We don't need auto mechanics. We need auto technology, because now it ain't about changing oil.
Oh, no.
Now it's about hooking a computer up and being able to figure out the 32 ohms coming across the Y conductor as it crosses the CO2. I mean, it's a technician more than it is anything. So now they were right about this, encouraging people to come to board meetings. I encourage them to come too, but not to come, because number one, they're not going to find out a whole lot. I mean, there's not a whole lot you're going to find out. And it's not the place to come to ask questions afterwards. If you've got a concern, a legitimate concern, and you've addressed it with the channels, and they didn't address it for you, then by all means, there's nothing wrong with coming before the board. And just to let you know, there's a process for that. And I'm making this up, so don't hold me to it. I think it could be 4 days, but I think it's 5. That you have to come in and tell us that you'd like to be on the board agenda. It's got to be 5 days before the board, and you write down what you're going to talk about, and we decide if we're going to let you come before the board. And most of the time you are, and then you got like 5 minutes to come. You can't. What's the word I'm trying to say? Can't talk about somebody individually. Can't come up and like my child's teacher is Miss Jones, and Miss Jones is a drunk, and you can't do that kind of stuff. I'm debating on if I tell you something or not. I'm going to tell you this because is Casey going to school today?
Alyssa, yes, she's at school.
Alyssa's going to school today. This thing had already started with scales. Miss O'Neill won't be there today. And the only reason I'm telling you, and there again, that's kind of public knowledge because she's already been told. Already been given letters and all that kind of stuff. And that decision was already made. I kind of let it slip and go, and I said I had a hard decision yesterday, and I'm going to tell you, I fought myself. I mean, I have to answer to myself ultimately, and I sat here and I sat here and I sat here and I worked and I decided that I was going to do it. So that part's done. So once again, I'm not telling you not to tell anybody, because then that would, you just handle it how you want to handle it. It's going to be out pretty soon anyway, but I don't want Alyssa to walk in there blindsided. There's a substitute in there today.
And she hates when they have substitutes.
I know, and if you don't want to take her to school today, I will give her an excused absence. Good deal. Well, all right, I'm going to get over here to this principal's meeting. I'll give you a copy back. And I want you to know, just to be clear, I haven't talked about any reason that things have gone down. I didn't
come asking them
right,
because I know you
didn't say any. I don't think that I was being wrong by telling you, because you were going to know in a few minutes anyway after you talked to Alyssa. So, but, and I don't even know if I told you if I'd realized Alyssa wasn't. I was thinking she was sitting in the car.
No, she's 10. I wouldn't leave her out there.